I just want to say one thing. One man's trash is another man's treasure. I just want to let everybody know, people who've been to the restaurant especially, that I don't cook from the trash bin. And I think it's a little bit important here to define second-class ingredients, okay? The context of Cambodia is quite particular. We are a bit different from maybe the rest of the Asian country that has been represented here in a way that the country is still very rural. The agriculture is not necessarily very developed, and so we still easily have access to a lot of endemic products, small crops, things that pretty much look like the table you have there at the back. When I came to Cambodia in 2003, all those products were pretty much ignored by the booming tourism industry, which was much more focused at the time. It's changed in very few years now, but at the time it was mostly focused on Western products, on products that European, Western, foreigner chefs consider appealing, and on the other hand, the Cambodians themselves always thought that their products were not good enough for the foreigner. I just want to show you a few pictures. I've taken some of those, some other were taken by professionals. You need to find which one are which one, okay? So the first picture is your average vegetable stall in a Cambodian market. You can see some diversity, but actually most of those vegetables are imported. They're all imported, mostly from Vietnam. They come straight to Siem Reap by boat, and they're grown in Dalat. We have no control on how they produce, on the amount of fertilizer, and also on the trip. I mean, they can take up to a week to arrive in Siem Reap. It goes through middlemen who have the monopoly. And those are the things that hotels love to use for different reasons. They are fairly caliber, they're always the same. The price doesn't change much, and they are available all year round. So it's very much easy to create a menu that's going to say the same for the entire year, or for some business for the entire opening of the restaurant. And those are basically the products that you will find in your average Cambodian food that you find in the most touristic part of town. Always the same recipes with the 20 same products: onions, carrot, tomato, capsicum, some broccoli at the back. It's not very clear, but you get the idea. On the other hand, and in the same market, you'll find stalls that look like this, which are only local products. I'm going to say traditional products. I don't want to say indigenous or endemic, because those are things that you will actually find all over this latitude of Southeast Asia. Some of them are also in the room at the back. And then you have Sesbania flower, tamarind shots, Java feronilla, water lily stem. You see it's very different. It's mostly stems, it's flowers, it's herbs, it's gourd. And those are the things that you couldn't find in any restaurants. And those are the things that Cambodians consider to be only for Khmer. And it's still something you hear on a regular basis in Cambodia. Along those products, you had things that were a bit a bit rarer, such as wild products. This is plai kui. It's a wild fruit that grows around Khmer New Year, which is very popular for Cambodian. We never see it in a restaurant. Some different type of banana. Those are called chek slap mu. They're actually sweet and sour, and you need to cook them. Some wild yam of many kinds. There are up to 8 different wild yams available on season in Cambodia. Some accidental vegetable. This is a coconut tree heart. So to get a coconut tree heart, you need to chop down a coconut tree, and the restaurant industry doesn't like accident, because you see them sometime for an entire week, and then you don't see them for 2 months. things that have get a bit forgotten, such as Macassar fruit. It's actually the fruit of the Ceylon oak. It's a type of sour longan used to make sour soup, or can just be eaten like this. Resurrection lilies leaf, which grow wild, along with different type of wild mushroom, frog leg mushroom, that's the direct translation, and lotus mushroom, which can grow about actually this big. Those are products that actually come from the forest around Angkor Wat. We have the chance in Siem Reap to have a plot of forest that hasn't been chopped down, only 6 kilometers away. So you have all those vegetables, and then the other important part he mentioned at the beginning are the fish. The Great Tonle Sap Lake, the lake in the middle of the Cambodia, has, maybe had, I'm not sure, the second largest population of fish per kilometer cube after the Amazon. It's about 10 times 10 times more fish than in the northern Atlantic per kilometer again. And many of those fishes are from commercial interest. And so fishing is a very important industry in Cambodia. You have here a picture of a traditional fish trap, and you can actually compare it to the size of the house. So people don't fish with a line, they fish with nest a little bit, but it's mostly done through walls of bamboo that forms funnels that push fishes into those traps. And because of that system, we get a huge diversity of fish, which are either bycatch or caught commercially, but which are once again almost impossible to find in hotel because they are seasonal. The Tonle Sap Lake goes up and down. I'm not going to go into the detail, but basically you have fishing season and you have a season without fish. Just a quick look. You have the small catch, such as the Trei Taon or the Treke, which you've seen in Thailand as smoked. Very often, actually, they come from Cambodia already smoked. Some needlefish. Things that are a bit more, a little bit bigger, such as featherback. Treke, again, which is known as glass catfish in English. Different type of carps. And, or even like eels. They are called in English tire track eel, but I call them leopard eel in my restaurant because I think it's a better name. The sandgobi fish, which is actually one of the unofficial fish exportation of Cambodia, those stay alive out of water for days, and basically they all get shipped to China because it's a delicacy in Hong Kong. A Sandai fish, which is probably one of the best fish of the lake. It's called butter catfish in English. This one is not doing very well so far. And also all the fish underproducts that you encounter on a very regular basis, such as dried fish, smoked fish, fermented fish, cured fish. Oh, well, you got a good example. That's my dry fish supplier. She's having breakfast. On the other hand, the restaurant and the hotel industry in Siem Reap like this. The snakehead fish, which is basically the chicken of the Tonle Sap Lake. They are easy to farm. They don't have bones. They are middle water swimmers, and they are predators, so they never muddy. And the dory fish, which you find absolutely everywhere in the world. I've decided to give up on using Western products, imported products, to stop doing crappy Western food, basically, and to focus on local products, and then Cambodian food came naturally. It took some studies. It also took to change the format. We're only doing menu, so we can force people to try all of those products. And also a very important part as well, we keep the prices low, because it's still Siem Reap, and people are not really ready to pay money. Just to give you an idea of the result, this is what a menu would look like at my restaurant with all of those products. Start with, we have two menus at the same time always. So we start with some amuse-bouche. This is some coconut tree heart with some fermented smoked fish, or some Mekong sole, which is actually a bycatch. It's a really good fish, and it's on season when the water go inside the Mekong. They're full of bone, so it's always a bit critical to give that to a European visitor. Then we have a salad, a quail salad with the bone as well, just to show you the works on the products, lotus root, stem, and seeds. So it has a little bit of frou in it. Or the tonlesa pufferfish, the same family as the fugu, which is an excellent fish with, even among Cambodians, sometimes a bad reputation because some of the species are poisonous. This one is not, obviously. I mean, until so far, nobody's ever complained. Some beef tongue. I didn't really talk too much about beef basically I only use cuts that boil for a long time because the meat is tough with some prahok sauce. Or some mam, which is also a fermented fish like the prahok, which is steamed with minced pork and with crudité, which are called unloa, very similar to the ulam in Malaysia. Some soup. This is another fish from the lake. It's called tonlesa croaker fish, and it's served on a dish called koko. Koko is a soup which is a mix of all kinds of vegetables, and that's really good for me because then I can put whatever I want in it. I don't have to give much detail. Or a dish of Mekong langoustine. That's a good dish. You have the Mekong langoustine, which is really considered a delicacy in Cambodia, with a mix of water lily, water mimosa, which are two very local aquatic vegetables, and the quenelle in the spoon is made from Java feronilla, which is a sour fruit. Vive la France! A stuffed frog, which is actually very classic street food dish in Cambodia. Or a porridge made from scallops, one also of the premium products we get. They're from the Kokong province. A porridge made with scallops, turnip, sausage made in Siem Reap by the lady you saw at the beginning. And then we always end up with the dessert. For the dessert, I slide a little bit and I use imported products, I have to say, because if people didn't like their meal, at least I'm sure they like their dessert. And it's a good way to finish when I come and see them. This one is made with purple dragon fruit, vanilla, and passion fruit, all produced in the same farm from a friend of mine, and a chocolate dessert with a fresh rice flake pancake. The pancake itself is a very traditional recipe. And normally at the end of the meal, I go to every table with a small plate of fruit that I introduce to people. It's also a vector to see how the dinner went. Just to give you an idea, with some salt, sugar, and chili. This is not cocaine. Also, I only get the question for elderly English people, I have to say, and I found that very surprising. We have a longkong, which is farmed and pretty well known. Some talingping in Thailand, tree cucumber, very sour. This is not a huge caterpillar. It's called tril. It's a wild fruit that grows around Angkor Wat. A coconut germ, so the ball that forms inside the coconut when it starts germinating, and some grapes from the winery in Battambang. Battambang has a winery that produces terrible wine, but the grapes are excellent. And you actually find everything, the whole idea of the restaurant is in here. You have the farmed, you have the forgotten, not so popular, the wild, the accidental, and the funny one.